So we're our next job, this Ford S-Max, C-Max, don't know what it is. We are dealing with a possible instrument cluster fault, so we're going to get the instrument cluster out, resolder it, and then we're heading to a 2020 Vauxhall Vivaro, which we diagnosed a faulty BSI, and I think we are going to be programming a used module in. Yep, so let's get the instrument cluster out and we'll get it repaired. So looking at this right here, you can tell somebody's been in it before because the needles, either that or the actual motor for that needle, there's something up with that. But to me it sounds as if this has been out before and they've not recalibrated the needles properly. So if I run you through the modules, you can see ABS has got communication network, missing communication with the IPC, missing communication with IPC, glow plug control circuit error, so we'll be making them aware of that. CAN communication again, and GEM control line to EH, which I'm not really sure what that is. But somebody's definitely been in this before because, like it says, if you start it up, the needle does go back to the zero position. However, when you switch the ignition off, it goes back to there, so that's where it thinks its zero position is, which obviously isn't right. This is just to show you the extent of the cluster. You can see if I move that, you can see all the warning lights coming. You can see that reveals that everything's just fallen off of this. You can see that's all loose, and basically this needle should be there. You can see the fuel gauge should be there. So let's get this stripped and I'll come back to you once we reveal the solder joints. So I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it's actually not looking like someone's been in here, because usually you find big bubbles of bad solder joints on there. To me it looks as if either someone's tried to come in here and not done a repair properly, or it's just by coincidence that the actual needle on the rev counter was all the way down at the bottom. That's usually happens when someone's not zeroed the needle properly. It's very strange for it to happen just off its own back, so I do think someone's been in here. However, you can see if I zoom in, I'll try and keep as steady as possible if I possibly can. So you can see that the cracked solder joint's there. The rest of them look not too bad, but we're going to go through them all anyway. This is just a video here showing the cracked solder joint. So out of all of them, I'd probably say that one is the worst. But you can see just a wee cracked ring around there, and the one at the top. However, we will be resoldering all of the pins on the board. So just plug back in, we'll start the car up. You can see the actual miles per hour is off ever so slightly. So we'll just let it run for a bit. We'll do a full system clear. We'll switch it off again. You can see the needles are pretty bang on. So like I says, we'll let it run for a bit and then we'll get packed up. C-Max, so that's us done this Ford C-Max. Instrument cluster repair, done it the guy's work. So we're going on to a trade customer now, which is a 2020 Opel Vivaro, Vauxhall Vivaro, with a BSI fault which we diagnosed about a month back, and the customers just basically gave the approval to fit a used BSI. So we're either going to clone it or we're going to swap the relay for the unlocking. So we'll go into that one, see it. So this is a Vivaro that we were at. What we're going to do is just disconnect the battery. I'll just pop these there then out. So the battery's disconnected. So this was a BSI that this was left like this until we got a known good module. So that's why it's sitting out rather than in there, because once it's in there it's a nightmare to get access to. So we're just going to unplug it. He's got the used unit I've got the used unit in the back of the van, I should say. So just need to lift this cover off, get all these pins, get all these plugs disconnected. Could be really doing without it. So just disconnect the last plug, or the last two plugs I should say. These units are an absolute nightmare to get into once they're in position behind the dash. Try to get access into the pins, plugs, anything, fuses. It's one of the worst that I've came across, to be honest with you, these Vivaros. So, okay, so we've got it obviously out of the car, so we'll go in the back of the van where it's nice and warm and dry, and we will open this up. So you can see we've got our two units on the bench, this one obviously being the second hand module. It's all the same numbers, I believe, so switch that around. BSI L3 841350, that's a serial number, that's no. So the hardware and the software 6.05 and D6 is the same, which is the main thing. That's what you need to look out for. So first of all, I'm going to try is this board, which needs to come off anyway. I believe this is the original one, by the way. I believe one of these relays has failed, and we've not yet tested that. But what we're going to do, since we've got the other used board here, is we're going to disconnect the pins, separate them, and lift that board off. So we'll switch it over to this one, but I'm not going to film opening this up because they're a bit of a pain in the arse. I'll just get this board disconnected. Touching or damaging one of the chips on the board, so that looks like it's lifted off. Them off very gingerly as well. So you can see this end of the board has now been disconnected. So that's the one on the used module, which we're going to be taking, well, we're going to be putting aside, and we're going to be taking the non-good one out of the used module and fitting it there. So we've got two boards there. That's a donor relay board that sits on top of there. So we just need to push fit that into that board. We'll plug it in and try it. If that doesn't work, then something's got to have failed in there. Like I say, I would just like to know if it is one of these relays that have failed. If it is, brilliant, we'll just put it in as it is. If not, we'll need to take it back out and fit the full board to it, and that means we'll need to remove that EEPROM there. I think it's a 95320, and we'll just need to match it up as best as we possibly can. But I mean, they were tight to come off, so they will be tight to go back on. If they were too loose, I would be worried. So I've managed to get all those pins pushed back in. That was probably the hardest bit, so I really hope it is this relay board that's at fault. You would think, because they've put push fits there, this is easy to disconnect. This is obviously maybe a a known thing that will go faulty, and that's why they've done that in the first place. Really tight to get out and really tight to get in, so I mean you need just a bit of brute force to get the pins back in the right place. So the problem is indeed the relay board that was swapped over. You see the door's locked there. Unlock it. Beforehand, basically when you were deadlocking it, the passenger and the driver's door plus the two rear doors would not open with the key. You would have to open it manually. So that's good. What we'll do is on another part of the video we will look at the relay that's faulty and we'll swap it over and repair it. We may as well. That's on that board and we'll keep that board as a... So we've just finished buttoning that up. Van's running, central locking's working fine as you seen in that last video. So it was a problem with the BSI, so we will update these on the video of us looking at the actual fault with that relay board, figuring out what relay is faulty. We'll look up the data sheet for that relay, it's got a number on it, and we'll do some testing for there and we might come across this fault again. So I thought this would be interesting to add to the end of the video, just basically for clarification on what's actually wrong with this board. So the relay that's on, I've looked at the spreadsheet for that. The spreadsheet for EX2 2K1S, there's different variations. So it's an XM relay, which is basically a 10 pin relay. So there's 10 pins in here, and it's got two switching sides. So one side has got a switching side and the other side's got a switching side. So you can see I've marked all the pins there with the purple. What's happening is if I get my wee probe, so the smaller pins, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, maybe, yep, so the smaller pins here is your switching side, and then the rest of them are outputs, depending on what ones are switching, that is. So I've went along and I've tested the switching sides. It inputs up to 16 volts to switch the relays over, and I've actually found that I think it's this one, this relay or this relay, I can't mind, I'll test them. It's faulty, so I'll switch these around. So I hope you can hear me well, but the way we're going to test this is basically by applying 12 volts to each individual relay and individual switching coil. So you can see here, or hopefully you can hear, that side's good, that side's also good, that side's good. And I don't know if you can hear that squeal. That side's not good. See, that one's nice and healthy. And we go to this one. I'm hoping you can hear that, but it's almost like a high resistance in there of some sort. But we have got nothing on there. So that one here is a bad relay. Rest of them are good. So we can order up a relay and keep this as a spare board on the van. It's just one switching side that's failed. Happy days. So I hope you've enjoyed that one, sort of a bit different. We will be repairing that board and ordering up a relay for it to get it sorted, so we've got a spare one on the van. Don't know if it's a common issue. I've certainly not came across it, but it is a 70 plate van, so it'll be 2020, 2021 plate. So yeah, thanks for watching, see you next time.